The air is thick with tension in the Montreal Forum on June 9, 1984. The NHL draft is about to begin, and everyone knows who will be picked first. A tall, lanky teenager from Montreal sits with his family, his face showing little emotion. This is Mario Lemieux, and he's about to change hockey forever. The Pittsburgh Penguins are in desperate need of a savior. Their team has been struggling, fans are losing interest, and they need something special. When they announce Mario Lemieux as their first overall pick, something unusual happens. Mario doesn't immediately put on the Penguins jersey, a bold move that surprises everyone. He wants to make sure his contract is signed first. Even at 18, he knows his worth. This moment sets the tone for Mario's entire career. He isn't just another hockey player, he's a game changer. The Penguins executives are nervous, but they know they've just drafted someone extraordinary. In the stands, Pittsburgh fans who made the trip to Montreal can feel it. Their team's fortune is about to change. Before this day, Mario's story was already special. Growing up in Montreal, hockey wasn't just a sport, it was everything. In his family's modest home in Ville-Émard, Mario and his brothers would spend countless hours playing street hockey. His parents didn't have much money, but they made sure Mario had what he needed to play the game he loved. In junior hockey, playing for the Laval Voisins, Mario showed everyone what was coming. He didn't just break records, he shattered them. In his final junior season, he scored an incredible 282 points in just 70 games. Scouts had never seen anything like it. He was different, a perfect combination of size and skill that made other players look ordinary. When Mario arrived in Pittsburgh, he didn't waste any time showing what he could do. In his very first NHL shift, on his very first shot, he scored his first goal. The goalie was Pete Lindmark of the Boston Bruins, and he probably knew right then that he'd just become part of hockey history. The goal wasn't just any goal, it was a statement. Mario stole the puck from Hall of Fame defenseman Ray Bourque, then made a perfect move to score. It was like he was telling the whole league, "I'm here now." His rookie season was spectacular. Game after game, Mario would do things that seemed impossible. He was scoring goals that nobody else would even try, making passes that seemed to defy physics, and playing with a grace that made the hard game of hockey look easy. He ended his rookie year with 100 points, making it clear that a new hockey superstar had arrived. The Penguins still weren't a great team, but they had hope now. Every night, fans would fill the arena just to watch Mario play. He didn't just score goals, he gave people a reason to believe. Pittsburgh, a city known for football and baseball, was starting to fall in love with hockey, all because of one special player who refused to put on a jersey until he was sure the moment was right. This was just the beginning of Mario Lemieux's story, but already he was changing the game. Without saying much, he was always quiet and private. He was showing everyone what hockey could be. He was writing the first chapter of a story that would inspire generations of players and fans, proving that sometimes the biggest changes start with a single moment, like a teenager from Montreal refusing to put on a jersey until the time was right. As Mario Lemieux's star power grew, he showed the hockey world something they'd never seen before. At 6 feet 4 inches, he moved like someone much smaller, but had the strength of someone much bigger. When he was on the ice, it was like watching an artist. He could slow the game down or speed it up whenever he wanted. Other players started studying him, trying to figure out how he did it. But Mario's style was something special. It wasn't something you could copy. The biggest hockey star at the time was Wayne Gretzky, known as the Great One. While everyone tried to compare them, Mario and Wayne were different kinds of players. Gretzky was all about perfect positioning and knowing where everyone was. Mario was pure magic. He could do things that seemed impossible. When they played against each other, fans knew they were watching something special. It wasn't just a game. It was like watching two chess masters, each with their own style. But then came the first big challenge. Mario's back started giving him problems. Most people didn't know how bad it was. He would be in terrible pain, but he kept playing. Every morning, he'd spend hours just trying to get ready for that night's game. The team doctors were amazed he could even skate, let alone play at such a high level. Despite the pain, Mario led the Penguins to something incredible: back-to-back Stanley Cup victories in 1991 and 1992. He wasn't just playing, he was dominating. In the 1991 playoffs, he scored 44 points in just 23 games. The next year, he won the scoring title even though he missed 16 games because of his back. People started calling him Super Mario, like the video game character who could do impossible things. Then came the news that shocked the hockey world. In early 1993, right when he was playing his best hockey, Mario was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of cancer. But what he did next became one of sport's greatest stories. He would go for radiation treatment in the morning, then play hockey that same night. Think about that. He was fighting cancer and still playing professional hockey at the highest level. The most amazing moment came on March 2nd, 1993. Mario had just finished his last radiation treatment that morning. Nobody expected him to play that night against the Philadelphia Flyers. But he did. And he didn't just play, he scored a goal and added an assist. The whole arena was in tears. Even fans of other teams were cheering for him. This wasn't just about hockey anymore. This was about showing people what was possible when you refused to give up. This part of Mario's story shows why people called him a warrior. He never complained, never made excuses. He just kept playing, kept fighting, and kept showing everyone what courage really looks like. In a sport known for toughness, Mario Lemieux was showing a different kind of strength, the quiet kind that inspires people to face their own battles with hope. The late 1990s brought a new kind of challenge for Mario Lemieux. His beloved Pittsburgh Penguins were in serious financial trouble. The team that he had led to Stanley Cup glory was now at risk of leaving Pittsburgh or shutting down completely. But Mario wasn't going to let that happen. In 1999, he did something no other hockey player had ever done. He turned his unpaid salary into ownership of the team. The player became the boss. This wasn't just about business. Mario loved Pittsburgh and its fans. He remembered how they supported him through his battles with cancer and back problems. When he became owner, he didn't just save the team, he changed how sports owners were seen. Here was someone who actually knew what it was like to be on the ice, to feel the pressure, to know what players needed. But Mario wasn't done surprising people. In December 2000, he announced something that seemed impossible. He was coming back as a player. Now he would be both owner and player, something that had never happened in NHL history. People wondered if he could still play after being away for more than 3 years. They got their answer quickly. In his first game back, he scored a goal and added 2 assists. The magic was still there. What made this comeback even more special was who he got to play with. In 2005, the Penguins drafted a young player named Sidney Crosby. Everyone called Crosby the next one, the next great hockey player. Now, the past and future of hockey were on the same team. Mario, in his 40s, was playing alongside an 18-year-old Crosby. It was like watching a master teaching his best student. Mario didn't just play with Crosby. He took him into his home. He knew what it was like to be a teenage hockey star with all that pressure. He wanted to make sure Crosby had someone to learn from, not just about hockey, but about handling fame and pressure. This wasn't in any coaching manual. This was Mario being the leader he always was, just in a different way. Even though age and health issues meant he couldn't play many games, Mario's impact during this time was huge. Young players on the team got to see firsthand how a legend prepared for games, how he thought about hockey, how he carried himself as a professional. He wasn't just teaching them hockey skills, he was showing them what it meant to be a true professional. This chapter of Mario's story showed a different kind of greatness. It wasn't about scoring goals anymore, though he could still do that. It was about giving back to the game, about making sure the future of hockey was in good hands. He saved the team as an owner, inspired everyone with another comeback, and helped shape the next generation of hockey stars. All of this while staying true to his quiet, humble nature. That's why they called him the Silent Warrior. He let his actions do all the talking. Mario Lemieux's impact on hockey goes far beyond his impressive statistics. He changed how people thought about hockey itself. Before Mario, nobody believed a player his size could be so graceful. He showed that hockey could be both powerful and beautiful. Players today still try to copy his moves, the way he would protect the puck with his long reach, how he could fake out defenders with just a slight shoulder movement, or how he could turn a simple play into something spectacular. The Pittsburgh Penguins today are one of hockey's most successful teams, and that's largely because of Mario. The team that was nearly bankrupt now has a beautiful arena and 3 more Stanley Cups won in 2009, 2016, and 2017. When you visit Pittsburgh now, you'll see kids wearing Penguins jerseys everywhere. That wouldn't have happened without Mario. He didn't just save hockey in Pittsburgh, he made it thrive. But Mario's most important work might be what he's done off the ice. After his battle with cancer, he started the Mario Lemieux Foundation. This foundation has raised millions of dollars for cancer research and care. He also created Austin's Playrooms, special playrooms in hospitals for sick kids and their siblings. These playrooms help make hospital stays less scary for children. They're a reminder that sometimes the biggest victories happen away from the hockey rink. The foundation has helped build cancer research centers and supported countless families dealing with cancer. Mario turned his own struggle into hope for others. He didn't just donate money. He stayed involved, quietly working to make sure the foundation made a real difference in people's lives. This wasn't about getting attention. It was about helping others, just like he always did on the ice. Today, Mario Lemieux is still making Pittsburgh better, just more quietly. His foundation keeps growing, helping more people every year. The Penguins organization stays committed to helping the community, following the example he set. Young players coming into the NHL still talk about wanting to be like Mario, not just because of how he played, but because of how he carried himself. When people tell stories about Mario Lemieux, they often talk about the goals, the Stanley Cups, and the amazing comebacks. But his real legacy is bigger than that. It's in the kids who fall in love with hockey watching the Penguins play. It's in the families who find hope and help through his foundation. It's in the way he showed that true greatness isn't just about what you achieve, but about how you use those achievements to help others. Mario Lemieux proved that a warrior's greatest strength isn't in how loud they shout, but in how steadfast they remain in the face of challenges. He showed that leadership doesn't need big speeches. It needs consistent, dedicated action. In the end, the quiet kid from Montreal who wouldn't put on a jersey until the contract was signed became one of hockey's greatest champions, not just on the ice, but in life. That's the true genius of Mario Lemieux. He showed us that sometimes the biggest impact comes from the quietest warriors.